Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast, episode 47. What's going on, fellas? DT, H.G.R.G. We got a special guest here. My man Keith, I show him.
Look him at him.
H.G.R.G. alumni. We told you guys, listen, you always hear from my mouth to your ears, but we always like to bring somebody that's been through it. You know, it's one thing hearing it from us. It's another thing hearing it from them. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to give Keith, you know, an opportunity on the platform to tell you his story, what he went through, where he's at now, where he plans to go, and, you know, just give it to you raw like we usually do. Keith, what's going on? Welcome to the platform, baby.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
DT, what's going on?
We just did episode 45 with a young lady. 46 is Mr. Keith. How you doing, brother? How's everything? I gotta ask this question before I even start. I would say Lance, but no, I'm gonna go with DT. DT, you still with us?
Hey man, I'm here, Pa. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, man. You know, we out here.
We're here live in full effect. Yeah. Always. Listen, you know, Keith, we've wanted to bring you on the show for a while. But it's taken some time to get you where you're at. You know, sometimes it's not always smooth, but we make sure we get to the end goal.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
And we definitely want you to be, you know, open with everyone. There's no sugarcoating here. We don't practice anything. We didn't send him, you know, a script. This is not what we do. We just
probably did, but it's all right.
We sent it, but he didn't get it on time.
Hey, I sent you a hoodie. You better talk nice about us.
That's it.
Hey, the hoodie came with the hoodie. No, he's so smooth. He's so smooth.
So Keith, tell us about your journey. Maybe before you met us, were you thinking about real estate before you ran the H.G.R.G, and what did that look like?
Right. So I originally, I always talked about it. I got another group of friends. We talk about it. I got some other friends in the actual business. I was kicking it with them a couple of times. So I talked about it for about a year, just talking, running my mouth, inquiring, things like that, building myself up. So one day I said, well, hey, let me jump out of the window. Let me make a call. So I made a call and I called the realtor and they said, yeah, come on out. Come check the house out. We're doing an open house. So I go to the open house. Nobody's there. And as soon as we went through the door, the ceiling's falling down. It's crazy over there. It's crazy. So I was like, man, it's a rental property. So what you thinking? How much do you think I need? And he's like, you know, give or take, I'm not the bank, but give or take, you're going to need about $17,000 to close on a $40,000 house. So I got back in the car. I'm like, man, you know, that's more than what I got at the moment, you know, anyway, but 17 is a lot for 40,000. So I got in the car, called some friends, and they said, man, you need to call DT, see if DT maybe has a house for sale, because, you know, I know that he dances in that world. So I shot him a phone call, and in the midst of that, he tells me, like, yo, what if I told you I could get you a $200,000 property for maybe even less than that? I'm like, yeah, that don't even sound real. I just got off the phone with this dude. He just told me I just left the property. That don't even sound real. He just told me I owe 17 grand for 40. How can you make this happen? Kicking it with him for a minute. And he definitely offered to, you know, to help me on a friendship level, but it just didn't feel right taking it on some friendship level, especially for the information that he was giving me and things like that. I felt like I wanted to pay, and I felt like I would get more out of paying as well. So he shot me an idea about joining the H.G.R.G team, and boom, here we are today, you know?
Okay, so were you were you hesitant to join the HGRG team, or did you talk to DT and you felt comfortable just moving in and transitioning with HGRG?
My only real hesitation is I had a dollar amount. If I can be as transparent as I could be, I had a dollar amount, and I knew that joining the team, there was a little bit of a fee to join the team, which was going to take from my initial money set aside to do the process with. So that was the only real hesitation, was like, okay, if I give y'all this, then this leaves me with this, which is setting me back this way. But, from talking to y'all, talking to him, talking to y'all as a unit, it was like, listen, all right, now you paid it. Now get back on your grind and get the money back that you paid us so we can put you right back where you belong. You know what I mean? So that was my only real hesitation to it.
And just to add to that real quick, you said you had a certain amount of money, and when you first went to the open house, you only had the 17, so it was less than 17,000.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then we got you into a situation less than 17,000.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
I just want to clear that up and make sure that understand it doesn't matter about the money. We're make something happen.
And by the way, he got into that situation for less than 17,000, but the situation he got into was more than 2 times the value of his initial $70,000 investment. So he
only want to clear that up is because it doesn't matter if you don't have the money and you do have the money. We are finding a situation for you. So that's the reason why I try to clear it up.
For sure.
So you were told this by a realtor, 17,000 get to a $40,000 property. More than I have, no way. You have a conversation with DT. He says, listen, how about I do less than that for a lot more than that? Sparks your interest. The information that DT is giving, you're like, hey, listen, I'd rather pay for it. I want access to everything, right? Because you didn't have a conversation with me. You didn't have a conversation with just Jerry until that was brought to, up to us. Hey, listen, this dude wants to, get into the program. Let's sit down with him, X, Y, and Z. So then you were introduced to us, right? So then the next day you got a property. Everything was great, right?
And ever since then, you and Lance are best friends, and you don't even talk to him anymore.
Don't do that.
So speaking, and we can speak about how that came about, how Keith and I would have a lot of conversations though, right?
Right.
What was everything, and we're being transparent. I know, I'm being, facetious when I say this. Everything was smooth for you, right?
No.
Oh, okay. No, everything wasn't smooth for you.
But as an investor.
But to be honest, to jump right in, after you join the program, it wasn't like joining the program wasn't smooth. It was my transactions within the program, like, nothing you guys did wasn't smooth. Literally, I joined the program, and within 2 weeks, I'm looking at a $150,000 house. You know what I mean? So you guys aren't the problem. It was some back end things that were the problem.
But things happen, even if it's out of our control, right? On this platform, Keith, we like to be real with our audience, right? So it's out of our control. We know we got you.
Not so real.
we get you pre-approved, right? Hey, here's our people. Let's go make those phone calls. Do your due diligence, and do your part of it. Get yourself approved. Here's our people. They're gonna guide you. You get pre-approved. Like you said, 2 weeks later, you're out and about. With the realtors and whatnot now, looking at properties. And X, Y, and Z.
Put in an offer, right?
Put in a whole offer.
Let's talk about it. Talk about it. So you put in offers, right? And then your first one, you get accepted. We're good, right?
No, but yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a little bit of both, So we found a house that really caught our eye. It wasn't the greatest of lookers, but the location was crazy. So we put an offer in. We put the offer in not solely based off of the looks of the house, but the location was great. So we once we put the offer in with him, we ran into a couple pit stops with him, and he ended up backing out of the deal. Like I said, nothing.
Who's him? Are you talking about the owner?
The owner, the seller.
Oh, okay.
Listen, Keith don't want to talk like normal human being, like he would talk to me on the phone. Let me tell you what really happened. Yeah. So let's a little bit of detail there, right? So just because I think this is pertinent information for people listening, right? He puts in an offer for a property, very, very, very nice area. I'm Keith, can you agree that it an area that you didn't even think you can afford?
Yeah, this is with yeah, for sure. I don't even live in that area currently.
Let's be honest, right? So
Yeah.
it was a great situation up front. So Keith was very timid. Nevertheless, he one thing I respect about Keith, everything he feels, he says. You know what I mean? He expresses that, and he calls us, yo, I'm feeling this, fellas. What do you think? And I want to be clear that, and Keith, you could verify this. Every step of the way, we were there. Listen, do this. This is the right thing to do. Don't let your you remember when I told you don't get emotional? Don't let your emotions get involved. It's a business, so on and so forth, whatever.
We even coached him on standing firm on what you be saying.
Right.
Because at times you're a brand new investor, so you start to be timid and start to ask questions and really don't know what you're talking about. And he kind of knew what he was talking about, but he was just a little timid talking. He wasn't confident enough to talk to the people, realtors and lawyers. And we kept on coaching and saying, they work for you. If you don't feel something, do what you have to do.
We've gotten on phone calls with the people involved, realtors, whatever. Hey, what's going on with this right here?
Yeah.
Why is this not happening? And stuff starts to roll. Like when we make them phone calls, people start moving.
Can I give an excuse to that though?
Okay, go ahead.
My excuse to that though too, I think the biggest part of it in the beginning was I was more worried about, I knew how fresh the program was for you guys as well as it was for me. So I think a lot of that time I spent trying to kind of walking on eggshells, I felt like I don't want to ruin
relationships between
our people. Yeah. I know y'all put the packet together, but it still was kind of like, I don't want to be out here handling, my realtor a certain type of way, or I don't want to push too hard in one direction. And then it makes them say, yo, I ain't answering the phone for him, because prior to running into you guys, I already own a house currently, the house I live in. So it was a little bit different because it's like, I really didn't have to talk at all. We talked, we handled our business. I said a couple words, but the bank and the realtor took care of everything. They just told me a moving date, but with the rental property side of it, it seems it's a little bit more conversation for you. You can't just play the backfield and hope that it's going to come together.
That's very true. But two things that as a new green investor that I don't think you understood through the whole process, right? And I want you to understand now, and we said it to you, but just not in these words.
Yeah.
When you bought your property, right, that you live in,
yeah,
years ago, prior to the pandemic, right? You bought your first rental property in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Nothing's the same.
That's dead on. That's the truth though. Right. That's straight up. Yeah.
Nobody works the same. You don't get responses the same. Attorneys aren't available the same. Everything is different. So you being able to do it in the toughest time in history, of course, the experience is not going to be A1 like it was years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So even though you weathered the storm and you went through it, and it wasn't the craziest, but you have a very unique story because your first deal was like, it was like, oh my God, this is like a gem. It's like the one, right? And then it fell through. So that whole process was like stressful for sure, I'm sure for you, because it fell through for nothing, pennies. It was the argument was over peeling paint, a screen, like a little bit of paint around the front door.
Cold Feet Keith was calling me like, man, they charged me $40 for this.
Yeah.
It was literally less than $1,000. The whole stress, everything was like $1,000 in repairs, literally like tarnished the deal, right? Cool. Nevertheless, the owner ends up backing out the deal because, to Keith's point, when he said last time he met him, I guess the owner was in the hospital. God bless his soul. I hope all is well with him, whatever. Nevertheless, everything happens for a reason. And I told Keith that. Don't worry, man. One comes, the next one will go. You know what I'm saying? That fell through. And I don't want to fast forward and speak to that, but I do want to reflect back a little bit too. So up until this point, you go through your first property, 2 weeks in, you're making a an offer on the area that, you know, I'm sure you're like, this can't be real. Like, because I remember you saying that to me, like, this can't be real. Something ain't right. You know, so I want to kind of ask from H.G.R.G, when you received that packet, right, and you read through the information and you had your experience for that first offer from day one, you receiving the packet, you know, the HDRG.club packet, you know, obviously you sign up for the course, the mentorship and all that good stuff. That's the packet I'm referring to. When Keith signed up, you know, he's the original, he's OG, so he got the hard copy. You know, obviously now we have everything digitized, but you know, what was your response to that? What did that packet do for you? What did it mean for you? Was it valuable? Was it not? Was it pertinent information, or was it just papers that, you know, kind of just filled in your desk?
Great question.
Yeah, I feel like after you read through it, I think the average person, when they get something, right, and they read it, that's it, they read it. I'm a little bit different. So when I sat down and read it, I'm like, okay, I don't understand it. Let me read it again. So once I read through it again, it was kind of like, all right, here's the information. It's a big, broad variety of information, just discussing. I ain't gonna tell you a whole book, but just saying that we're in the perfect market for this, right? And that's really what was selling me on it, was like the information in the packet was just telling me like, yo, I've been living in this city. I'm 36, so I've been living here on and off pretty much my whole life and never knew that these opportunities were here. So that's what the packet did for me in particular. As far as information wise, I think the biggest part of the information was being able to turn the page and you have a team. It was just team and team and team, all these different teams of people that you can call. And it's step by step. You call this guy, and after you call him and you get the green light with him, you call this lady. You call this lady after you get done calling her. If you need this person over here, then you call this person. So it was, for me, what I took from it was the knowledge of knowing that all of this stuff was really happening right around me, though. Like, there's people really, not people, I ain't counting nobody money, but there's people really getting money in this market that I live in, and I pass by these houses and you're not even thinking that it's feasible to do it. You can't even, this ain't for me. This is for, no disrespect to no white people, but you just think of landlord and white people. No, for real. Like, when you think of your landlord, it's rare. It's rare you see a Chinese landlord. It's rare you see a Spanish landlord, a black landlord. When you think of landlord, you think of a white person. So, and you think of it, it's something that's inherited, not something that they got up and they're doing the same. You don't think you can play in the game with them. So that's what the packet did for me. Lets me know, it lets you know that you can actually jump in that world. So that was pretty dope.
Jerry preaches that.
Right.
Does your experience, this is kind of like off topic, but does your experience from day one until even today, right? Keith and I went to his rental property. I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but I'm it's for a reason. Went to his rental property, did some things, talked about some stuff, and I was like, let me take you to a couple places so I could show you, you know, what you should do to a rental property. You don't want to overspend, you don't want to underspend. Types of quality of materials, paint colors, you know, so that you could visualize it. Because some people are visual learners. So, you know, we did, I don't know, maybe an hour or two, you know, road. I took them like 4 or 5 different properties. And I'm talking about the 4 properties, 3 properties. You talking about the worst of the worst, a little bit better than the worst, a little bit better than that, and then mediocre. You know, nothing crazy. Like, I didn't, none was scheduled. It wasn't like it was, let me show him my best example of what I got going on, right? So we walked through them all, and I'm asking you, you know, from what you learned from day one, the first time you called me, and then even before you called me, me and you had conversations like general, not really me and you specific, but about real estate. So from day one until even today, what you learned, has your mentality changed that now it should be more common that people who are look like me, look like Lance, look like Jerry, should be known as or recognized as, and that could be my landlord, as opposed to what you've learned or what you, you know, from day one.
That's a fact. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think the whole process
now that you are that, no?
Yeah, no, I think the whole process itself shows you that, though. After you get through it and you go through it, I actually called you recently and said, man, when's a good time to get my kids started on this? You know what I mean? So those are the things that you know, those those specific words aren't in the packet, but it made my mind change. It changed my train of thought, you know, instead of just sitting around and waiting for her to come to me one day like, hey, Dad, I want to own a home. I'm trying to make it to where she already has it before she can ask.
Right.
Dopest.
Right.
The dopest part about that too, you know, if I'm speaking like as if I'm you, Keith, respect, you know, you bought that information, right? You walk that road. So you learn the path of how to get there. But you own that. That team is your team. That team is no longer just our team. That team is now your team.
That's for
Now
life.
they answer the phone and say, hey, what's up, Keith?
Do you question after I paid for the program? Do you remember what I asked you? I said, so let me get this straight. Y'all gonna give me y'all phone book? And then I said, after the program's over, is it just gonna shut off? Like it's gonna be a website that's just gonna shut off and all these numbers disappear? You know what I'm saying? But then as I'm asking y'all that, I'm at the printer though, printing this up like they think it's a game. I'm about to get all these. They ain't turning this off on me. You ain't about to play with me, man. I made 2 copies of this binder. I got 160 pages over here, man. Are you crazy?
Answer your own question. You know, when you got the packet, you know, that's what you were asking that question. Now, you know, our commitment to you with the program is we're going to walk you through hand in hand from beginning till end until you close on your first deal, right?
Yeah.
And to cut that in real quick, when you first put your bid in for the first property and it didn't go through, were we absent right after that? Hey, you put your first bid in. That's what we had to do.
Right.
No. We continue to step with you and say, that one fell through, we get to another one.
Man, you heard Lance, man. We having Zoom calls every other night. Couple times we had a Zoom call every day for 3 days. You know, so I don't know about everybody else, but I know for me in particular, when I needed help, I'm asking if y'all free for a call. Y'all calling me asking me if I'm free for a call. So it was y'all. That was super hands-on, super lit. You know, you guys were there day 1 to day 2. You know,
Keith is a double dipper. You know, he'll be on the phone with me asking me a question. Asking me a question. Hey man, you think I should do so and so? I'm like, yeah. You're fine with that. Just keep doing that. It's an easy process. You'll be fine. Let's just keep going. He's all right, cool. That's what Dan said. I'm like, what? Why are you calling me? And that's what Dan said already. I'm like, this dude right here is out of his mind. But he, like he said, he was green. He bought a property that he's already in, but for him, it was an easier process. He was kind of on the outside looking in, just need his move-in date, right? Here, he was negotiating. He had to make decisions. He just left us.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Keith.
All right, there we go. Sorry.
It's all right. Pick up your phone a little bit, I guess you say so. There we go. Perfect. You know, you had to make decisions in this one. You were the go-to when it came to yay and nay, right? You took our advice, but ultimately it's in your hands to say yay and nay. Like your first deal, we would have never left that if it was us. But we can only guide you so far. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, we're not here to force you. We're here to work with you. We gave you our word. When you close your first deal, we'll be with you, until you close your first deal, right? So if that deal is not what you think it is, or you don't think it's for you, we'll move on to the next one. And we showed that. Yeah. I think as a team, we showed that. All right, you know what? This one's not for them. Let's do it. And we showed it multiple times because you've done multiple walkthroughs and you've had multiple properties you're interested in. And multiple times it didn't work out for you.
Has made multiple offers, multiple properties.
To the point where you were like, should I just go a different direction?
No. A point where he had that call like, I think I'm gonna put it on pause for a little while, man. This shit is exhausting. You know,
for sure. I was actually, yeah, I was ready.
I'm like,
I was ready to fight.
Nah, bro, this ain't it. This ain't how you do that.
So DT, hold on. So Keith, tell us what was your mindset there? Why did you want to put it on hold and felt like, maybe right now is not the right time for you?
Transparency. Talk that one. Talk it. Don't be political now. I need
Oh,
raw.
okay.
Don't sugarcoat.
No, I felt like that. Once again, it had nothing to do with y'all. It was more like the market was so crazy at that.
You don't gotta defend us, bro. You don't.
Well, I'm just giving me. I'm just putting it out there though. It wasn't. The market. The market was so crazy at that time, right? And then everything is jacked up, and then I'm going to see houses, and as I get, they're giving. Well, my realtor gave a good word for it. He called them realtor pictures. So I'm getting realtor pictures, and I'm getting amped up. I'm rushing out of work to go look at these houses. But the whole time I got the vision of the picture of what it's supposed to look like. And then you get there and find out that that stove that looked like that looked stainless steel was really beat into these houses, and they want $190,000 for a house, but you don't feel like. I'm looking at the house and I'm like, they just put band-aids over trash, They just I started. Or or my other issue was I was genuinely getting outbeat from the amount of money that I had. So I'm like, okay, this ain't, maybe I should take a step back and see if the market levels out, because I was getting beat out on so many properties. It is a, not to sugarcoat nothing, it is a lot of cash buyers out here too. And people genuinely didn't want to do, they don't want to do an inspection. They don't want to do certain things because there's a guy with 100,000. There's a guy with 100,000 that don't want none of that. He just wants to come in and, take the house over. All they doing is signing papers. So that's what
100,000 cash, be closed in 2 weeks and be done with it.
And the party will be over. You're talking about dealing with me and potentially being with me for 45 days. And then on top of that, the type of loan that I had, they want to come in and they take a comb, they take a comb and they don't want too much dust in one area. They don't want to, so that was one of my reasons in particular where I was just like, you know what, maybe I should fall back or maybe I should get some more money. That was my biggest thing too. Maybe I should save up some more money.
Actually, that's exactly what you said. Maybe I should fall back, save a little bit more money so I can put myself in a higher price point. So I'm not
for sure
to this type of thing. You definitely said that for sure.
Well, just Jerry, quick question. Sorry. What was our response to that though? When he was
to him walking away, or to him, what do you mean?
Him falling back. Him going.
No, so what we did was, if you want to fall back, that's really up to you. But the market is still there. So if you, while you're pulling back, just check, find out if something pops up in your email. Go look for it, because the thing is, in the world, in the market we're in, it's coming. You just got to be a little bit patient for it. If you're not patient for it and you jump for the next one shooting, just like you said, you see realtor pictures, and then when you get there, you're like, oh. But you just got to be patient. You got to be patient. So we kept on saying, just be patient. Keep on looking at your emails. If you want to stack some more money, stack some more money. But while you're stacking your money, it does not tell you we cannot jump on the next property. You have enough money to jump on the next property.
Right. Yeah, stay in the game. Stay in the game. Really was stay in the game. You don't have to leave the game because you're trying to stack the money. Stay in the game. Keep looking. And essentially, that's how I fell into this house. So.
And I always say,
keyword
is you miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But essentially, what he just said,
if you're not in the game, so you got to stay in the game. Go ahead, Lance. My bad.
Sorry, DT. I apologize. You heard what he said though. I fell into this.
You ain't fall into it. You ain't fall.
But he did. What he did, DT, he stood into it. Even in his mind, right? He fell into it because he stood in the game. Right. So even though we weren't really going to let him leave the game, as far as, just, check out, don't worry about it. We're not going to do that. Our advice would never be that. Right. It would be what just Jerry said, stack your money, but keep your eyes open. Essentially, nothing's changing. Yeah. You're still going to respond. You're still going to look. You're still going to have interest. And then eventually it's going to happen. Right. So, and then DT's point, it didn't fall into your lap. Right. And because you stuck with the process.
If you were not in the game, you would have never had this play. If you
if you never looked in your email,
it would have never been, you know, no. Whoa. Wasn't an email. It wasn't.
Well, let me give him his props because I feel like he won his props. He ain't saying give him more props.
Hold up.
Oh, I'm about to say. Let me give him his props.
We're not looking for. No, I want to paint a picture. I want to paint a picture.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to bring it back to the to what I was saying earlier, but I do want to paint a picture. So when you got the pamphlet, you know, you went through it. Obviously, you got the team. Team is yours. The first deal falls through. You're thinking about maybe falling back, saving some more money, all that good stuff, right? We have the conversation. You know, stay in the game. To your credit, 1,000%, you stayed in the game. Even still, you know, what I want to say, what you think the credit part, but you know, the realtor you're dealing with is sending you automatic generated emails every day of properties that come up within your buying power, right? Within your wheelhouse. Okay. You're paying attention to them as you should, but H.G.R.G also has properties that come to us, you know, sometimes faster than the way you guys get it, right? Yeah. It just so happened to be that one day we're on the phone talking and a property came up for H.G.R.G and we're like, hey, yo, this is the one. Go look at this one. Oh, my realtor didn't send me that. I don't care. It's on the market. Call him, tell him you want to see that tomorrow. Did that happen like that?
Yeah, because I actually said that to you today too. Like, man, what was going on? That I felt like that wasn't even in my emails anymore. Certain houses weren't even hitting my emails, but they slid right over to y'all.
Sometimes they find through H.G.R.G.
Yo, how did that happen, right? How did that
so we get you know what H.G.R.G.
Hey, listen, man, God did.
God. Yeah,
they didn't want us to win,
but God did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so you know, I bring that up. It's super important because you know, even though you follow the right steps, right? You got a team in place, you got a realtor, sometimes a couple realtors. You know, to Keith, I'm sure I call it beating the streets. When I say beating the streets is, you know, you're in tune with what's coming on the market through the MLS or whoever you could talk to. Let me know. Sometimes you don't know it all. It's networking. It's really in life. It's more who you know, not what you know, right? Mm-hmm. So he just so happened to be in the right place at the right time. He just so happened to be connected with H.G.R.G. at the right time and at the right place. H.G.R.G. just so happened to be at the right conversation with him that night and got that email and said, it is the one. And you know, like I said, God did. It worked out. So it really wasn't about a prop thing. It's just about the process. You know, for those newbies out there, right? Don't think because you got the best realtor in town, the best lawyer, the best financing person, you don't got it figured out. That's not the key to success.
Yeah.
You need a team. You don't just need 3 or 4 people. Keith said we gave him a packet with a team and then another team and then another team. We didn't do that on mistake. It's purposely. And then after that team on the packet, really we are the team.
Right. That's a great point, DT.
We're the team. So even though we gave him the packet, and to all of our students, to our alumni, you know, respectfully to everybody, future and those to come, and the past, you know, we don't just pass off pieces of paper to you. We're done with you. Nah, we're super in tune, super involved. You know, we understand you, we learn you, we know what you need, and when we get those, we call you. We don't wait for you to call us.
Yeah, for sure.
We're telling you, yo, this is it.
Keith, you can attest to that. That's
yeah, for sure.
That's a fact. We check in on you. You know, I mean, even if it's an email, where you at?
Yeah. If we don't hear from you in a certain amount of time, if it's like dead silence, hey, what's going on? Checking up on you, making sure we still good. You know, what's happening? Because, you know, listen, at the end of the day, it's a movement, but it's more so like we just want our people to win. Yeah. We just want our people to win. We need it. Jerry says this always from day one, even before H.G.R.G. was what it is. We need a seat at the table. Keith said it right now. You know, typically growing up, you know, I just understood landlords to be Caucasian. I never knew that they could look like us. talk like walk like it's be of us. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a mentality, and that's important to us. I want our people. We want our people to win. We want our people to be, you know, leveled up. You know, not to get clicky baity or whatever, but Jay-Z just said a verse where he said he had potentially 4 billionaires come from his household, right? Man, I love that, man. I want to see, you don't got to be billionaires. 100,000aires I'm good with. Millionaires. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Hey, if you make 6 figures, you're living a good life, man. I don't care. I don't care who you are, right?
I also want to add that when you said you want to get your daughter into real estate, that's all we do it for, bro.
Yeah.
We do it for you, so you can now open up your mind and go, listen, if I can stand here, my daughter can stand here.
How'd that conversation go, Keith?
I was really just sitting back, and I'm like, hey, you 18? And she's like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, what you want to do? You want to get a house? She's like, yeah, I'll take a house. What do I need? And I'm like, well, let me just call DT real quick while, you know, and check in with him, see what he has as far as information on what you can do at 18. You know, do you need, how much work history do you need? You know, do you need credit, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we, you know, called you that day, and me and her just been kicking it, just building on it. Want to make sure she got the right amount of money put together, because I also want her to do it on her own as well. I'm going to be here to help her, but I want her to go through the process as well, and just, you know, see what it's like to stack that money up, and see what it's like to see your money stacked up and spent, you know? Crazy important.
And before, I don't even know if Keith, I don't even know if we released the episode, and I think we did, it's older, where, you know, I preached on, you know, buying my daughter a house. And I don't know if I said it on air, but my son came to me one day crying, because in the conversation, I told him when he's 8 and my daughter's 5, I'm going to buy him a house and her a house. And when on my daughter's birthday, when she turned 5, my son cried to me because he was like, Puppy, where's my house? You told me. I swear to God, this kid boo-hoo cried, because now she's 5. Why don't they have their house? Like, that was supposed to happen. So that it messed me up. So thank God, you know, we were blessed enough that my wife and I, we just bought my daughter and my son a house each. And we promised him. He's 8. She's only been 5 for a couple months. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, it's even today, full circle, no braggadocious shit, but this is just true story. I took Keith to my son's house today, and I drove him by my daughter's house today. And I explained to him the whole situation. I walked Keith through my son's house, broke it down, and that. So when Keith called me about his daughter for the 18, I'm like, I just spoke about this on the podcast, you know, whatever. So it touches home. So, you know, we got back to him. His daughter's lit. She's eligible. He's working on that. You know, this is what we do it for. This is the whole reason. You know, we trying to teach not just here and now how you can get lit, but, you know, generational, you know, mentality. They don't teach you in school.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
So, and even with that, so to get back to, so you go through this rough road, you know, of putting offers in a bunch of times and can't get it. You're in the middle of COVID, cash buyers, you know, you feel like the competition's too tough at this point.
Yeah.
You stick with it, you get the property you have. At this point, what feeling was it, or that you felt when you finally signed those papers and when the deal was done and you knew that this property was yours? Can you explain that moment?
Yeah, I think I had been through, like I said, I was even going through a couple little odds and ends with this particular house, as far as just tenants and things like that, and them getting paperwork together. And finally, when I finally got the email, I think they hit me like last Tuesday, like, yo, they hit me last Monday and said, hey, we're going to close on Wednesday. And then I'm like, perfect. And I start getting amped up. They sent me an email at 11:44 saying close time Wednesday, 2 p.m. And then at 12:07, the seller can't make that time. We got to do it again next week, someday next week. Oh my God. And I was in the truck. Hey, I called my wife. I said, they think it's a game. I'm taking the house. Either he's coming out or I'm going to get it. I ain't losing this one. It's over. So, but no, they, you know, we were able to get the little odds and ends cleared up, man. And we finally came through. And DT can tell you this. So I was sitting in the room, and I literally was sitting in there. I think I had my phone out, but I wasn't even looking at it. I just sitting in the room like, you know, kind of like what he just said right now. Like, man, I'm in this room, and I was in there by myself, but I was in there, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Here I am. I'm finally, you know, after all of that, I started this process in January. I know everybody's time is a little bit different. Y'all got people that went through the program and in 30, 40 days and gone, but I've been with y'all since January. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a different.
That is the scary part about us sharing information, right? Because, you know, we're like, hey man, this could be as quick as so-and-so because we have to do this, or it could take a little, but the problem is now you're privy to the information that, you know what, someone did it in 45 days and they're working on their second one.
Yeah.
You know, so I get it. So I understood your frustration for sure.
For sure, man. Especially because I've been with y'all literally since January 5th. So when I finally was sitting in there and I'm like, when you finally get to that spot where it's like, nothing's happening that's turning you around from here. Once I made it to this building and I'm in here at this desk, this is real. So that was super dope, man.
And then what happened while you were by yourself? What happened all of a sudden?
Man, all of a sudden, you know, bottles come through, H.G.R.G's in the building, you know, The
door opens, right? I walk in the attorney's office. I've never been in this attorney's office, right? I walk in there like I own the shit. Hey, I look at my phone. Yeah, Mr. Jones, I'm here for the Jones closing. She was like, oh yeah, he's right there in the office. So I go back, I walk in there like I own it. Right now they work for him. And he's my guy. So now you work for us.
That's right.
So I open the door, and when I open the door, he's curled up. Quiet, you know, he gets his folded.
I'm just happy to be here.
I'm like, don't be nervous now. Don't be nervous now. Don't do that. Don't tensed up. This is what you asked for, right? This is what you wanted. And then, you know, he loosened up a little bit or whatever. Obviously, HDR was important to HDRG. We try, you know, it just scheduling wise, it hasn't worked out for the rest of our students, but we try to make sure we're there for each closing. You know, we were blessed enough to be there for this one. You know, we try to bring them a little gift at closing because, you know, it means a lot to us, man. It's a proud moment for everybody. You know, like I'm probably happier than you. That I say that, but I know that's not real. But we're happier for you that, you know what I'm saying, you finally, you know, ended up closing on the property. So it was a dope moment, man. You know, watching him sign the papers, knowing the whole experience, because he had it tough. You know, the rest of our students, none of our students had it as tough as him.
Right, that's true.
Right.
None of our students had it as tough as him. But what he do happens. You know, it happens. It happens.
And that's the reason why we have him here.
Right.
It's because we don't want you to feel that it happens in 2 days. No, it takes some time. It takes some time. You gotta put a little work into it. You have to put the patient hat on.
Yeah.
Just to rewind real quick. You said you was with us in January, right?
Yeah.
What was your deadline? What was your how would you think when you was gonna close on the house? What was the time frame you were giving yourself?
Initially I said, man, do you guys think that I could be in the house by June? And you guys are like, June? We could do better than June, but since you're giving us June, yeah, you'll be in the house by June. So then when January came, you know, we had that conversation, yo, June ain't nothing. And then 2 weeks later, I'm in a contract with a house. It's like, hold up, June sound like I might be able to, I'm 3-4 of these, you know what I'm saying? I might be in 3-4 of these bad boys, you know. Obviously I ran into some complications, but you know, I don't know if the date's on this, but it is August, but it ain't, you know, I was locked in with this house though, May 28th. You know what I mean? So it ain't like I didn't make the deadline. You know, we waiting on paperwork at that point, but I had a house in June, which was my real deadline. If we really going by, you know, stat sheets, I signed these papers and had this house and been under contract with this house since May 28th.
Well, I wanted to make sure.
So and let me ask you this, right? You know, as a matter of fact, anyone else have any more questions? Because the question I asked is probably more of a wrap-up question.
I got two things. As one thing is I just want you to elaborate on, and then the last one is gonna be a question. I know part of HDRG, we say we're gonna be with you from, you know, the beginning until you close on your first property, right? That's And then after that, it's kind of like, you know, our commitment to you has been fulfilled, right? Some people take that and they say, okay, so then what happens after that? You know, am I just cut off? What happens? You know, you close on your property, right? That happened. Our commitment to you is fulfilled. Do you feel like we just kind of like cut you off, or do you feel like, wow, the experience still goes on? You know what I'm saying?
For sure, because I feel like the experience still goes on because there's still numbers in the packet. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna give it all. I ain't gonna give the packet away, but there's still numbers in the packet that you need. That I feel like, you know, from property management to an accountant to this, that, and the third. So technically, the help don't really stop. You know what I mean? So it's so much more stuff in there that I haven't even touched. I'm still at step 5. You know what I mean? There's 8, 9 steps still in this book. You know what I mean? So that's and then outside of that, like I said, just today, just you pulling up on me today, just helping me out with simple shit is just a lock. You know what I mean? That was wild.
So what about those locks?
Yo, bro.
We don't
think
even
it's a game. The man, I watched the man make
my last
man riding around with a key maker lock. I ain't never seen that before. That's wild. You got to go to Walmart to get key made. He can make the key in the van, man. It's wild.
H.G.R.G, we steal our properties and then we give them to our students.
yeah.
And my last question, because I don't want to keep it too much more longer, but you know, now that you're done with the first process, thank God, and again, congratulations, man, from H.G.R.G to you. You know, we're super happy for you, super proud for you, and you ain't done. Like, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You know, now you gotta leave Earth.
Yeah,
you got everything you need. Now you gotta leave.
What I would tell you, to cut you off, is keep on giving the information through the Facebook, man. I know you're not in Facebook a lot, but just throw some knowledge to the other clients and students, because they looking for you for some information as well. So just
did y'all check y'all do? So I did see that.
Absolutely.
Oh, you did see it?
Oh yeah. You got a couple of them things. You got a couple of them guys.
Yeah, for sure. They serious.
I appreciate you though. I appreciate.
Yeah, because y'all been acting real different since that portal got up. Even y'all YouTube channel been a little bit, you know, a little bit more aggressive. Everything's been turned up since this portal. You know, I clicked on the portal. I wanted to check it out. I was like, man, they doing their thing, man. You know? Shout out to y'all, man. The portal is up and running. Those dudes is getting crazy.
Appreciate you. My last question, and Lance, you could take it home.
Okay.
You know, you going through this whole experience. You know, obviously with H.G.R.G, through H.G.R.G, nevertheless, you did it yourself. Based on your experience, 2-part question. What would you tell somebody else that's in your shoes where you were in January 4th? Yes, H.G.R.G is a good idea. That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, are you going to move on to property number 2, or are you done? Like, was this enough for you?
So that was part of my question. So let me,
Lance, you can't take.
I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to reverse it though. Would you move on to your next property, right? And then the other part would be what would you tell the world about H.G.R.G and your experience and whatnot? We'll wrap it up that way.
Say less.
Which one? Because it's 2 of the same, but one's different. Which one y'all want?
We want the first one. Would you buy another property?
Guys, just go with Lance's questions. He's the host.
That's it. Just follow my lead.
Just follow my lead. Are
you planning on buying another property and keeping this going?
Yeah, I'm definitely going at it again. After I get everything situated with this one, I almost wanted to jump right back into it right now, but I can see I might need to do a couple of things that's going to involve some money. So yeah, but it's definitely happening for the end of the year for sure. And I got all the tools, I got all the information. So even at this point, it's like I said, H.G.R.G will still be helping me, even though I might not have to call y'all. I think the best thing that happened was I was able to call y'all. I was able to ask the questions. I was able to double ask the questions, you know what I mean? So I might ask Danny, and I might not like Danny's answer, and I'll call, and then I'll talk to Lance, and Lance will say it like this. It's the same. It might even be the same answer. I just like the way Lance said it better. You know what I mean? So, I'm definitely jumping. Yeah, I'm definitely jumping back into the process and doing it all again. I will say this: if I had to give a shout out, my biggest thing was even yesterday. DT could say this. I was talking to him and I was just like, bro, I feel like I didn't pay enough. You know, like I feel like I actually owe money for everything that y'all done did, for all of the hour and a half long Zoom calls that's really only supposed to be 20, 30 minutes. We on there for an hour chopping it up. The personal phone numbers, calling y'all on your personal phone, asking for help, all that stuff, man. That was way worth more than what I paid, you know? So shout out to y'all for that, man, for real. But yeah, I'm definitely grabbing another house for sure.
Yeah, that one again. Well, listen, Keith, we appreciate you. You know, thank you for coming on here on this platform and giving the people, you know, your story. I know DT, just Jerry, definitely appreciate you being on the platform as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to thank you. We want you to go get your other properties. We want to bring you back on. And thank you for being real about your experience. You know, that it just wasn't ABC, it wasn't 1, 2, 3, you know, but you're still here with us. And that final comment, what you said, means a lot. You know, you feel like you didn't pay enough for everything that you got, you know, but we feel like you did, and we feel like we did our job.
And Lance, I'm gonna be honest, you know, full disclosure, he told me that at closing. He reached in his pocket and said, man, I owe you money, man. And then what he said, dude, he said, this can't be this easy.
Yeah.
It's gotta be more.
Yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing